Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the main stage here. We continue our discussions, and our next session is around Saudi-Italian fusion. So it is a very promising topic. So I hope you will be massively joining us. And we are going to explore how these two rich culinary traditions come together. And we are very honored to welcome our next speakers. So please join me in welcoming on stage Daniele Chiari, International Chef and Ambassador for Scuola di Cucina Alma and Barilla in Saudi Arabia. We unfortunately don't have Vittorio Rocchi, but Alberto is here to replace him as the Chief of Operations of SITAF. We have Chef Hatoun Al-Touki, renowned Saudi chef and culinary innovator, and Chef Jamil Haridi, who is an expert in Saudi-Italian culinary partnership. Thank you. Come on, guys. Make some noise for our speakers. Thank you very much. Very good. Thank you so much. Please have a seat. So it's nice to have you to have this conversation. I'm here since 2 days and discovering the Saudi flavors. And one of my favorite flavors are Italian flavors. I'm French. Nobody's perfect, but I love it. And just the idea of speaking about Saudi and Italian fusion is so exciting. So let's start maybe, Daniele, with you. I know that you have this, your techniques are really enriched with nuances of Mediterranean, Arab, Asian traditions. It's really a mix. So really, how has your international journey influenced your ability to create unique fusion dishes that blend both flavors?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sirha. My name is Daniele. So my international experience brought me to discover different culinary and cuisine around Europe, East Europe, Central Asia, and Middle East. That's I think was something that made me open mind to go deep to the traditional food. That's why when I come in Saudi Arabia, the first thing I did, I went truly deep to discover their culinary vision, culinary mother recipe. When I start to look into the recipe, I saw that some ingredients are nearly to the Italian taste, south part, let's say south of Italy. The spices, the sweetness. So the combination was easy to be adapted. That's make me interested daily to improve this fusion between Italian and Saudi cuisine.
And a beautiful challenge, right?
Of course, of course. The challenge we find within this Saudi Italian cuisine is that Saudi use a lot of spices. That's difficult to combine. I think you agree with me. When we take Mediterranean cuisine, the Mediterranean cuisine has an easy recipe, so not strong flavor. So you must just go and be ready to adapt and balance the taste of the food.
Absolutely. And Chef Hatoun, I think this must resonate to what just has been said right now by Daniele. We were talking about, the marriage of the fusion culture. You literally have married into an Italian family, and I think this has influenced what you're doing.
Yes, hi, I'm Chef Hatoun Al-Touki. I'm actually the first Saudi food blogger specialized in the Italian cuisine. I'm married into an Italian family. My mother-in-law is Italian. She's originally from Calabria, so lei calabrese, and I speak the language. So when I first entered the social media world, I discovered that there's no Saudi chef or food blogger is specialized in the real Italian cuisine, the original recipes. There are many recipes that people don't know. All they know is pasta, lasagna, pizza. But no, for example, people don't know that there's a difference between arancini and supplì. What is supplì? So my job is to introduce the different regions, the cuisine, to the Saudi culture and change some to make it into a fusion of both cultures, the Saudi and the Italian. But for me to learn the exact Saudi Italian cuisine, I started with the basics. And it took my mother-in-law 10 years to approve my food. So it takes a while, and then the fusion between the Saudi and Italian culture comes in.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Now,
Alberto.
now, please, you need to explain what's the difference between arancini and supplì.
Okay, arancini is it's a street food, which is the rice balls, but it's originally from Napoli or the south, and the arancini is made the rice cooked with zafferano or saffron, and it's filled with peas and ground meat and mozzarella, and then it is shaped like a cone.
Right.
And it's fried.
Yeah.
This is from the south, Napoli, Sicilia, and southern. But the supplì, it's actually a Roman dish from Roma, which is shaped as a ball. And the rice is cooked with the sugo, or what we call the tomato sauce. And it's filled with just mozzarella. And it has to be, so the moment you fry it and you cut open the supplì, you have to have the cheese, you know. Yes.
You're
Melting,
making me
melting.
hungry.
Melting, yes.
You're making me
So,
hungry
but
now.
people don't know the supplì, and they always call all of it arancini. So I introduced the supplì on and many have tasted it, and it is included in my menu, in my catering menu. And people are like, this is arancini. No, it's not. You are insulting the Italians when you call it arancini. It is supplì.
Well done, chef.
Alberto.
Well done. You get a big certificate of Italian cuisine now.
I didn't even know. So
No, I
well,
was
thank
saying
you,
she knows
thank you so
better.
much.
She
I'm
knows
learning.
better than the Italians. Come on.
So
The
much
Italian
better.
consulate, they call me, I'm the ambassador of the Italian food in Saudi Arabia.
Brilliant, brilliant. So Alberto, I was saying that unfortunately Vittorio couldn't make it. So maybe you've seen the name of Vittorio Rocchi. How do you say?
Vittorio Rocchi, yes. our
Rocchi,
CEO.
and the CEO. But you're the chief of operations.
Yes.
Probably just a quick word about the CTAF, if you want to say a few words very briefly, and also to join the conversation about how do you prioritize really high quality and niche food products in this process of creating fusion dishes that marry Italian and Saudi flavors.
Yes.
Maybe a quick word.
Right. From my point of view, sorry, Mr. Rocchi couldn't be here. He could have given you a more technical explanation on the food side.
But
I can
we're
give
happy to have you. No worries.
Thank you, thank you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you, everybody. Good evening.
Piacere,
Piacere,
Piacere.
by the way.
So I can give you more a perspective from a more business model point of view. Is that the way that we introduced ourselves into the Saudi market was with very high quality, authentic Italian products, ingredients. And this gave us the volumes that made us grow where we are right now. Our main competitive advantage is that we source only from direct suppliers. So we have a say on the quality, which is very important to us. And it's very important to the Saudi cuisine, from what I can experience and from our data shows, is that if you let me this term, the coolest thing that we can say is that the Italian ingredients and products, the authentic Italian ingredients and products, are becoming part. They combine so well with the Saudi table that they're actually becoming part of new Saudi dishes. So this is something that is very, very cool, in my opinion, and from our data that we show that the chefs are not like only Italian chefs that buy our ingredients, but there's always more and more Saudi and maybe Indian chefs that buy our products because they create new Saudi dishes.
Fantastic.
I do.
Yes.
I
Fantastic.
buy my products from Sital.
Thank you so much. Keep doing that.
Do you still have a cold store in Jeddah or only in Riyadh?
No, we now have a
I think these guys are going to have a conversation after the panel, huh? Or have some food together.
we are present in both Jeddah with a little warehouse. The main warehouse is in Riyadh. We have a center of distribution, little warehouse in Jeddah, but now we're starting the construction of a bigger warehouse in Jeddah.
Fantastic, thank you. And of course, Chef Jamil Haridi with us. I was looking at your background, very interesting, coming instrumentation and control engineering. So this is very exciting. So you're using that into your work. Has it influenced your precision and your creativity in the kitchen? Can we say that?
Well, it eventually will impact directly and indirectly. And I would believe the indirect impact it can show among the process, not like forcing it. Being an engineer, I have to do this and that in the kitchen. No, it has to go smoother than this. Yes. What I mean by this is like, for example, the way of listing the process of the recipe as an example. I already noticed the big difference between my friends in the field and the way I do it, because it's more focused on the process as if it was an industrial recipe from the very beginning, rather than just simplified, let's say, steps. Yes, it takes more time, but it will make it even easier to edit, easier to adapt, easier even to the team to follow up. Yeah, and will make a bigger precision, and also will have a large margin of like, let's say, mistakes, maintaining the same quality, which is a bit difficult, I believe. Yes.
And what do you see? I think this is really a question for all of you. So blending, when you're fusing Saudi and Italian culinary traditions, both have their own very strong cultures in its own. You know what I mean, Chef Hatoun. What are the challenges that you see? You encountered when you're doing this fusion. Maybe I'll get back. Maybe Chef Hatoun.
When I started in social media, the Saudi culture, they're used to the Americanized version of the Italian cuisine, okay? Many Saudis, or even Arabs in general, even when they travel to Italy, they don't like the food because they're used to a certain type of pizza, the pasta that has a lot of cream in it and lots of cheddar cheese. And so for them to accept the original Italian cuisine was a bit difficult. But when I even started creating recipes, the Italian with the Saudi twist, it got a lot of engagement, perception towards the fusions of the flavors. But it was hard because, as you said, the Italians they don't use a lot of spices. By the way, guys, paprika is not an Italian spice. Do not use paprika, please, in the food. So this is what I've been. I mean, the acceptance of the fusion of Saudi Italian, it's still new.
When we talk about fusion, that's why the name of fusion cuisine is to the chef need to have a talent to combine the two culinary. Whenever you need to combine the two culinary, you need to learn first the traditional part. When you have the traditional part means you need to focus to learn basic of the Italian cuisine, plus the basic of the Saudi cuisine. After that, you can start to work to combine the ingredients to bring to the table a certain dish that will be accepted by customers.
By the market,
because
right.
If I go Italy and I will make a Saudi-Italian fusion cuisine, I must adapt to Italian taste. In Saudi
Absolutely.
Arabia, I must to adapt to the
Saudi
taste because the customers are different.
Of course.
So that's the challenge and obviously the main point for a chef to open his mind for what the customer needs.
Absolutely. Jamil.
I totally agree, actually, with you, but I have something, maybe a different perspective. The fusion of any cultures is actually exactly like a relationship. Exactly like a relationship.
That's right.
One would take over the other at certain points, depending on the situation, depending on the time. Like, for example, as he said, if he's in Italy, he has to adapt it to Italian. But if he's in Italy, let's say, and the Saudi ambassador is inviting Italian, then he had to adapt the Saudi flavors a little bit more than usual, even though he's in Italy, because they are the one who's inviting the guests. So they are trying to show their culture in that sense.
Of course.
So,
But we can. It's not only about fusion. It's not only about mix the ingredients.
No, not at all.
Fusion is even using the technique, or use a certain kind of dish, but with flavor of another country. So we are not talking about example tomorrow I have to present one dish. That's an open lasagna. It doesn't mean that the open lasagna is Italian only. So I can adapt the lasagna to be for any kind of cuisine.
Yes.
That's my point. Maybe it was not really correct.
No,
Jamil,
I
go
totally
on.
agree. I was just saying it's different, and it's way deeper than whatever we were trying to explain. Because exactly like a relationship, you have to know the basics, and you have to know when to give up, because you have that culture in you, and sometimes you have to give up some part of that dish.
The flag go up.
Yes, and each dish, I believe, it has its own identity on its own, and an experience different than the other. For example, if you're talking about this, the street food of a culture, some of them are deeply rooted to the street. So it's very difficult to bring them into a different level, losing the same, maintaining the same feelings as if you were in the street.
100% agree.
Alberto.
And if I add something about the ingredients, which is interesting, is that, for example, there's some very fast-moving and high-selling ingredients like bresaola and burrata that are becoming part of the Saudi cuisine.
They're trendy actually now in restaurants. They're very trendy.
They're very trendy, exactly. And also, since we have this business model where we only buy directly from our suppliers, today we are inventing new ingredients that are specifically for the Saudi Arabian market, like some special truffle creams that we are developing together with Urbani. So this is something very interesting. So new ingredients are being created by companies like us to how do you say to meet the demand of the Saudi Arabian market.
But are there any obstacles that you faced when you started, adapting Italian ingredients to make the fusion dishes in?
Well, the main obstacle, but we didn't. Thankfully, the Saudi Arabian taste and table blends well with Italian green ingredients, so we didn't have too many obstacles.
Okay.
The obstacles is always finding the right products that can do volumes. One of the starting obstacles that we had is that we were procuring maybe a lot of types of pasta or oil, then in the end we're not selling it. This was maybe one of the biggest challenges, to understand which are the right ingredients. That maybe they're easy to sell in Italy, but here you presume maybe we're going to sell it but it's not true. You need to adapt and understand the market, which thankfully it's blending well with Italian ingredients.
I believe one of the challenges that I was facing is choosing the right recipe, Italian recipe, to make it as a Saudi fusion, because not all recipes you can change
you cannot adapt.
Yeah, and to be accepted
By
either the Italians or the Saudis, because both cuisines are very rich and both cultures are very non-lenient to the change. Especially the Italians. Don't play with food.
I see your experience there.
But don't play with their food, you know?
Daniele is not, you agree. You
Don't
agree
change
with
a recipe, you know?
Depends chef to chef.
chef to chef.
No, I'm
Because-
talking about the regular Italians, not the chefs, the mothers, the
No,
grandmothers.
But
They're
I believe
not very resilient, not to change. It's tough.
I think if I'm an Italian chef and I work for an Italian restaurant, of course I will demand to be Italian food. But if I have a restaurant that it say that I combine two culinary culture, from there my mind must be open to deliver something
Yes.
that
Yeah.
the customer will agree and will be happy with.
This completely resonates, Chef Hatun.
Yes. So, for example, I created a recipe last year for Saudi National Day, where I made Bukhari, which not Bukhari, salig, which is similar come risotto. It's salig. Ti conosco? And I made it with sorry. I made risotto with the Italian flavors.
Nice.
You know, so it's similar to salig, which is a national dish, but I created it as the way the risotto is made, and the comments online from the viewers, they didn't accept it, that I'm changing the identity of this most famous Saudi dish, and vice versa. If I would have
Right.
done the same and made the the opposite,
Absolutely.
it will face some challenges. Still, fusion dishes are not really not in all cuisines are well taken by the culture.
Actually, what you're saying is very interesting, and I know that you're very active on social media, and you've built a platform for Saudi and Italian fusion. And do you think that what's happening on social media
It
is also help?
It's a trend now. Like Vittorio said, they're adapting
Is it
a
shaping?
lot of their products, to match the Saudi, because we're very opinionated when it comes to food. We love food. We food is part of our culture. And on my social media, I started with the traditional Italian recipes. When I was done with it, then I moved to the second level of creating the fusion dishes. So I
Nice.
didn't start direct with the fusion dishes. No, I started with introducing the Italian cuisine. Some items on social media people never heard of, like the supli. And I made the whole video explaining the difference between the arancini and the supli. And then, after 5 years, then when I entered the world of the Saudi fusion, and I introduced it in my own catering menu.
Nice. And maybe we have a few minutes. Yes, a few minutes left. Time flies as we have very interesting discussions. Maybe Jamil, this one. I know that one of your goals is also to elevate Saudi cuisine internationally. And so, what are your goals? As a chef who will bridging both cultures. What do you expect for the future?
Well, since I started this career, I was focused on the fusion, the Saudi cuisine with other cultures, not vice versa. So it doesn't matter what the culture is, I will try to fuse it, whether it's Italian or it's Japanese, depending on this, let's say, the event. And I like that you mentioned salig, and in one of the events in Paris, I made the salig, but it was a risotto with the salig. Yeah, with the salig flavors, but with lobster.
Wow.
So it wasn't with meat. So it wasn't expected for some of the guests who knows the dish itself, and even for the Italians who knows the risotto itself. But again, the event allowed me to do that because the Saudi governors, they were inviting others, and they were in Paris. So risotto is more common than salig to other people, and that would make sense for that only event, particular event, and that's why it's not working all the time. It's just work
Yeah.
on different methods.
All
Yes.
right. And Alberto, maybe looking ahead, how do you envision really Sitaf evolving to meet, the demands of fusion cuisine, and while actually maintaining the authenticity of products?
Yeah, that is definitely a challenge because as we grow, of course, the demand it's higher, and we are also starting to supply more type of restaurants, like for example fusion restaurants. So this is creating definitely a challenge on the quality of the Italian ingredients that they are asking from us. They will try to ask also. We source not only from Italy anymore, because the Saudi market is very demanding and expanding very much. Saudi is very hungry for new types of cuisine, restaurants. There's a lot of restaurants opening. So yes, we had a little bit to start sourcing also from other countries to meet the demand. But when it comes to Italian, we always, if there's some niche that we identify that we can enter, like for example with Urbani, which is our supplier for truffles and truffles oils, we are creating this special truffle product that we believe will be very, very well suited for the Arabian Saudi Arabian market. But it's always an Italian brand. It's always an Italian company. The technique in which these products are produced, they're totally authentic.
Right.
Yes.
Even the tartufo, the truffle, we have a Saudi version of it, which is called al faga. So, and it's grown. It's a wild. What do we call? Is it a vegetable? Is it a what? What is?
It's a wild mushroom.
It's a wild mushroom, but it's called faga, and it's very expensive. And here it's protected. They have lands that it's protective, and people have been eating it for a long time, and they make it in kapsa and rice, and it's delicious. So maybe someday we can do a faga risotto, sitaf / Chef Hatoun, yeah?
Yes. Anything you need, chef.
Grazie.
Just few seconds, just maybe any very successful fusion. Yeah, you wanted to say something, Jamil? Time is running, but maybe just final one. What's been the most popular fusion dish that, I mean, what you've seen on social media, and Daniele, what from your perspective? Tough one,
Fusion
huh?
is tough, yes. But I don't see today a dish that is one of the most popular in the Saudi and Italian fusion, because it's still in growing. It's coming out now. It's ongoing process that I believe in the future
It's just the
will
beginning.
impact the market.
See.
Because the two culinary are well demand in the country, and if you find a good combination of ingredients and technique of cooking, you can deliver to the customer a unique experience.
Final words. Anything you've seen on social media from your followers that about fusion
my
dish?
most famous Italian dish was the tiramisu made with dates and Saudi coffee.
Oh,
And
nice.
that made a hit. So the cream was made of dates, and the coffee espresso was replaced by Saudi coffee. And that's also on my menu, and it is on social media. Many other chefs have created similar tiramisus, and it's really delicious because the Saudi coffee is amazing.
There are recipes that we produce from many years now, but no one restaurant still doing, right? That's maybe the chef is in catering and delivery this product. But if you want to know well if the two culinary combined together, must be a crazy chef to open a Saudi Italian fusion restaurant, and there we will see.
That's the plan.
Jamil,
I actually
very
liked,
quickly.
I liked something he mentioned, the niche. Fusion is actually a niche market. It's not a usual thing. It requires not only a knowledge, an experience, and also a deep talent of knowing how to blend things. And knowing how to blend things, you need a lot of not only techniques, of feelings sometimes, because in some traditions they are using techniques that are against, let's say, physics or chemistry or whatever the science says. But yes, yeah, but still he had to have that sense into the recipe somehow, but not doing it like with the wrong way that they used to at the same time.
Fantastic. Well, guys, time is up. We could continue. This conversation was brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
to
Thank you,
all of
everybody.
you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
for
everyone.
this fantastic conversation.